Ron Pitts, John Lynch, we're ready to start the third quarter here in Buffalo. The New Orleans Saints holding on to a 3-point lead. Here's a look at the first half numbers.
I think what jumps at you, we talked about Alex Van Pelt talking about how important it was to stay on the field on third down. We also talked about would the Saints be able to run the football without Mike Bell. They've answered that question.
Saints holding on to the ball after that great first possession, but not a lot after that. Morstead to Parrish at the 5. Roscoe Parrish dancing, covering the play very well once again. The New Orleans Saints, and a quick look at the highlights. The 1-yard touchdown run by Lionel Hamilton, and then the fake field goal. Ryan Denny from Mormon. Second year in a row they hit it. Then the fumble. Malcolm Jenkins hustling down, stripping the ball. The Saints turn around, get points out of it, and that puts us at 10-7. Pitch to Jackson. Jackson with a cut. And Jackson showing you why he's been so productive the first 2 weeks here for Buffalo. He's about 2-3 yards shy of the first down. Finally brought down by Scott Vegeta.
You talked about it earlier, but this really is a great story. Fred Jackson. This is a guy that was in the United Indoor Football League in 2005. Went to NFL Europe. They finally get him here in the NFL, and he's making good upon that.
They mark him officially for a 6-yard gain. He'll get it again, and he'll have the first, then some. Jackson bringing it down to the Bills' 42-yard line.
Ron, you see this left side, Demetrius Bell and Levitre just caving down here, and Fred Jackson's going to take the ball and come back with that one cut, and Bobby McCray and he in a whole one-on-one advantage, Fred Jackson.
Play action. The pressure is there. He's got to throw it away. Nice job there. Coming off the corner, Jabari Greer making a nice play.
Greg Williams has done a great job of mixing it up. 4-man pressures and then bringing the blitzes. Jabari Greer came with the perfect call for the perfect play. They're going to boot you, run the corner blitz. That's good timing by Greg Williams and that New Orleans defense.
Second down and 10. Safety comes up, 8-man front, single man going for T.O. And it's incomplete. Ball thrown inside. Jabari Greer on the coverage, and Sharper, if Sharper had turned around and seen it, he might have been able to intercept it.
Trent Edwards talked that Terrell Owens likes the deep ball inside, but you got a ball hack back there like Darren Sharper. You better not put it too far inside. Darren Sharper was close to that. He saw the 8-man front, had Terrell Owens outside one-on-one. I'm sure at halftime they talked about getting these receivers involved. Had a shot right there. Needs to put a little more outside for T.O.
T.O. with 185 straight games with a reception. No receptions so far today. Third down throw and a vicious hit. Well short of the first down. Fajita coming up and waxing on the sidelines, and that'll bring on the punt team for Buffalo.
Ron, and I think coming in today, we talked a lot about these explosive offenses. The #1 in scoring offense in the New Orleans Saints, the #6 scoring offense in the NFL in the Buffalo Bills. But the story really has been the good play of both these defenses, particularly the New Orleans Saints.
So Reggie Bush goes deep to receive the Mormon punt. Line driver. Bush not able to handle that one. Bush gets away from it, and a great roll for Buffalo. 56-yard punt, and the ball rests inside the 5-yard line, down to the 3.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By the newest $5 footlong. Try the spicy buffalo chicken footlong. Subway, eat fresh. And by GMC. Put us up against anyone and may the best truck win.
So the ball marked at about the 4-yard line, and Bush collided with John Windling. Not exactly sure that Bush knew that ball was that close to him. It hit Windling and then rolls back. Pierre Thomas, and Thomas is stacked up. Maybe one. Go back to the punt.
And not a real smart play by Reggie Bush right here. He gets real close to touching this football, and if he does touch that football, the Bills can recover it. This game, he feels like they need to get that going. That's not the way to do it right there.
And an injury report from the Saints. Jamon Bushrod out with an ankle injury. Zach Strief in his place at left tackle. And Thomas, look at Pierre Thomas go. Boy, Sean Payton just keeps bringing him off the bench, whether it's Bush, whether it's Pierre Thomas. Positive yards, a first down for the Saints.
And you look at this New Orleans Saint offense, they've got Dante Whitner playing a linebacker, the Buffalo Bills do. You run right at him. Pierre Thomas getting his first look of the day. Heath Evans on the safety playing linebacker, Dante Whitner. Very good rushing job by the New Orleans Saints.
19 yards on the run by the third-year man out of Illinois. We'll get it again. Another wide open run. The Bills defense on that right side just getting gashed by Thomas. Brian Scott finally pushes him out of bounds. 13 yards. And you look at the first half of offense for New Orleans. The first possession, great. Drew Brees and the offense go right down the field. The next 6, not the same.
Not at all. The Buffalo Bills defense stepped up. But Pierre Thomas is now saying, put me in, coach. I'll get us going again. And they're getting a nice drive going right here.
Reggie Bush cut back. He pushes out past the 40-yard line. Kyle Williams finally rounds him up. And John, this takes me back to something we talked about in the open. People talk about Drew Brees and Reggie Bush and the weapons in Colston, but it's the run game. And Mike Bell is not injured today. That's made the difference.
Yeah, you know, and when you start running the football, you establish a mentality, a toughness as a football team. I was worried for the Saints that without Mike Bell, they wouldn't have that smash mouth attitude, but they're still doing it today, and they're starting to do it effectively.
Mike Bell out with a sprained knee suffered in the fourth quarter of last week's win against the Eagles. Huge hit in the backfield. Kelsey driving Bush all the way back. So far, they got to stop the play. And we talk about Reggie Bush in the 06 draft for running backs. Well, you see the round on the left side, but it's the kid out of UCLA that's stealing the show.
Yeah, and Maurice Jones-Drew had another big day today, and the story of this is really Reggie Bush is a receiver. You see those receiving yards. Incredible in the pass game. Haven't found a way to get him going in the rush game as of yet.
3rd and 6. One-on-one coverage for Bush. Let's see where they mark it. Boy, it's going to be close. Keith Ellison on the tackle. That's SC on SC. It's all about the mark. From that mark there, it looks short.
As they come with the measurement, Ronnie, we just talked about Reggie Bush and his receiving ability. Now, you cannot knock him on that.
Nope.
In his first 40 games, 221 catches. It's the 3rd most since 1950 in the NFL. So, you know, maybe not the productive running back that people were hoping for when they drafted him so early in the first round, but he certainly has been a presence on the field by virtue of the pass game with the New Orleans Saints.
So this will bring up a 4th down, and Sean Payton does not hesitate. He says go.
4th and 1.
I think the referee got that spot exactly right.
John, you said this was a playoff atmosphere, but how about this for confidence? Sean Payton doesn't even flinch.
Number 67.
You think he doesn't believe his team is ready
was reporting as eligible.
prime time? What a play call by Sean Payton.
You know, Ronnie, I'm getting fooled up in the press box here like everybody else. Dante Whitner jumps over the pile here, and I think he makes a great stop on Pierre Thomas. Not so fast. Drew Brees pulls the ball out. And look at the defense. Everybody flocks to Pierre Thomas and Drew Brees out the door. And don't ever question this guy's athleticism.
Sean Payton on the other side of the 50, the minus side, which is generally don't go for fourth down territory. He goes and makes it with a great call. Back to the ground game. That's Thomas. This time they stack Thomas up. Ellison is there along with Schobel.
You see Sean Payton with that long list of offensive plays and not showing his hand at all. Everyone thinking he's going up the middle. Not so fast. We're coming with a little bootleg.
What did he say? He's got 122 pass plays on any given Sunday that his quarterback Drew Brees can retrieve for him and recite by heart. Play action. Inside throw. It's wide open. That's Marcus Colston, his big target. And Colston with a first down as he works inside the Buffalo Bill 40-yard line.
You know, Ron, and that's what starts to happen. The middle of the field opens up when you start to run the football with some presence. They've been running the football on this drive. Then all of a sudden the linebackers get sucked up. The middle of the field's wide open for Drew Brees and Marcus Colston.
The first down passing for the Saints since the first quarter. Quick injury update. Leotis McKelvin, cornerback for the Bills. We saw him walk off in the first half. He is out for the game with a leg injury. Thomas, maybe one or two. Going back to Sean Payton. You know, you mentioned how he's kind of got a little of both. He's got that fire and that passion and intensity about the game of football, but he's got that class about him and a little bit of swagger and a little bit of entertainment value. Maybe not as much as John Gruden, but you know.
He's got a little John Gruden in him, but he's a heck of a play caller. I think he returned to that toughness late last year. They lost to Tampa in week 12, and he said right then he realized he needed to bring back the toughness in this football team. They got away from it. They've run the ball effectively ever since. This year better than ever.
2nd and 9. Drop. Shockey had it. We talked about the rushing and what it does for this offense along with the passing. The Saints have got it working on all levels, all cylinders. 3rd and 9. Nearly intercepted. I told you in the first half that Drayton Florence was all over the receivers. That time he almost got it.
We'll see if Sean Payton, how much confidence he has here. He's holding that punt team, but now he's sending them onto the field.
He does not confuse 4th down with points in this situation.
But he did think about it. Huge stop for the Buffalo Bills defense right there. Momentum was starting to swing. The Saints were starting to take over physically.
So Morstead will try to kill this one. He's going to need a good bounce. He got it. Down inside the 3-yard line, and an already tough Saints defense will come back out for more. Saints up by 3. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, it's the final weekend of the regular season, and we'll bring you the best games with the biggest implications to find out who will clinch a playoff berth and who will be left behind. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Ground game. Jackson shrugging off a tackle, running for more. Finally brought down by Jabari Greer. And John, we always talk about run-pass balance, and the Buffalo Bills along with the Saints. The Saints coming out and doing a pretty good job of it. 129 rushing yards on that last series. After that last series, 120 yards passing the ball, 250 total. They came into the game averaging 400 yards, over 400 yards a game. Second down throw, and that's a first down. Lee Evans. A marker goes down late.
We talked about the need to get those receivers going. Alex Van Pelt's been talking to Trent Edwards as well as we listen to Walt Anderson on the penalty.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 42 of the defense, a late hit, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That one going against Darren Sharper. Let's go out to Los Angeles for this game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, TJ Hushman's out. A fumble set up the Bears for the go-ahead touchdown. The rookie Johnny Knox with a catch from Jay Cutler. And the Bears have come back from 13 down to lead it 14-13. Ron and John?
Did you see those Seattle uniforms?
Old school.
I know the trend these days is to be green, but that's taking it a step too far. And there's a throw inside to Lee Evans. Evans with a nice reception, a big hit by Sharper, but they'll be about a yard shy of the first.
Alex Van Pelt talked about how he likes to talk to Trent Edwards about the next series while they're on the sidelines before they go play it. He obviously told him, let's get these receivers going.
Second down and 1. They get the 1 and then some more. Following up on Edwards. Edwards, a very good record here as a starter in the month of September. He is 6-1. But that time he does it with the ground game.
Yeah, you see Fred Jackson going. Jonathan Stupar coming back around. Fred Jackson churning those legs like he does so well.
Run it again. He shakes off the man in the backfield, but doesn't get around the corner. He put the stiff arm on Scott Fujita. You don't see that very often. Kind of shows you the strength, but he's rounded up by the rest of the Saints defense. And a look at Alex Van Pelt, the Bills offensive coordinator.
And Alex Van Pelt has done a heck of a job of really getting this no-huddle offense going. As I said, the 6th-ranked scoring offense in the NFL coming into today. They've got to get it going today. Their defense is doing a tremendous job keeping them in this football game. It's time for them to score some points.
Very quiet Terrell Owens. No catching. Edwards in trouble, lowers his head. And a late marker goes down. That might be a late hit. Anthony Hargrove. Boy, I'm not sure that I agree with it if it is, but anytime you go near the quarterback's head these days, but. Oh, no way. No way.
Yeah. I don't know is right. You know, you watch Trent Edwards.
Number 69, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
You watched Trent Edwards last week as you see Sean Payton giving it to Anthony Hargrove, but I don't know if Anthony Hargrove, or maybe to the official, which I think it should have been directed towards the official, because Trent Edwards last week's running over defensive backs, and yet you that was not a late hit. I think a missed call right there.
Boy, talk about changing the game. It definitely changes the game because it changes field position. Not only is it a first down, but look where the ball is. Jackson picking his way. Keeps his feet moving and gets down inside the 30-yard line. 5 yards on the pickup.
And that right there looks like a simple play, but that's a good gain for this Buffalo Bills offense. 5 yards, you'll take that on first down every time.
Second down and 5. There's T.O. Cutback. Harper coming up hard from the strong safety spot.
Yeah, you know, and right now, I think you're circling T.O. because this just doesn't happen. He doesn't go this far into a game without a catch. But he's getting frustrated, I promise you. And I don't think you can force it, but at some point, you brought this guy in here for a reason. You got to take advantage of him.
intercepted. Will Smith comes down with it. Saints ball. And maybe you were right, John. They may have been going to T.O. on that play. But it results in another turnover. Saints offense coming up.
You watch this last play, Jabari Greer does a great job of diagnosing it, but right there, Terrell Owens' job is to get inside that cornerback. Not a great decision by Trent Edwards, but as a receiver, you need to cross the face of that corner and go make a better effort. You're going to see Terrell Owens not real happy right now, but you got to do your job too, Terrell.
Terrell Owens thrown to 3 times, but no catches. He bobbled one in the first quarter. That was about it. Time winding down here in the third quarter. The fake pitch, come backside, and that's Shockey. Brought down by Kelsey.
You know, Ron, and one of the things that the Saints do so well is utilize Reggie Bush as a decoy. We talk about maybe he hasn't been the most as successful as they want running the football, but he still attracts attention everywhere he goes on the field. They fake the toss, the whole defense goes there, it opens up the boot, and they utilize that over and over throughout this offense.
Second down and 7. Pierre Thomas in the backfield along with Evans. Movement early. Schobel may have been pulled off by Streif.
False start, number 64, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
That is Zach Streif.
Let's not forget, Zach Streif is in for Jermon Bushrod, who is subbing in for their Pro Bowl left tackle, Jamal Brown, who will be back in about 4 weeks. So they're down to their 3rd left tackle right now.
Second and 12 handoff. That's Pierre Thomas. Marcus Stroud. We've called Marcus Stroud's number quite a bit, making some tackles downfield as you look at the numbers. Points off turnovers, only 3, but in a game like this, 3 could be the difference.
The Buffalo Bills fans sensing what a big 3rd down this is.
Third and 9 draw, and the Bills are all over it. Bush tried to get out of town, couldn't do it. Nice job by Chris Kelsey. That will bring up 4th down.
Chris Kelsey is having himself a heck of a game. 3rd and 9, not what you think you're going to get from the Saints, but you better react to it. Chris Kelsey gets into his rush, sees the draw, gets downfield, and stops Reggie Bush short of the 1st down.
And it looks like the Saints are just going to let the 3rd quarter run out, take it to the other end, and punt it. And we've got a great one for you here in Buffalo. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll be back. The 4th and final quarter here in Buffalo. Ron Pitts, John Lynch. The Saints will punt it away. Back deep, Roscoe Parrish. Nearly blocked. High kick, great kick by Morstead. Parrish tries to make something out of nothing. A marker goes down, went down fairly early. And Parrish is shaken up. 46 yards on the punt, 5 yards on the return, as Parrish limps off. So somebody stepped out of bounds.
This guy's having a bad hair day.
Well, the hat being thrown, as evidenced by the official. That's the only way they can mark it.
During the kick, personal foul, number 31 of the receiving team going out of bounds to block an opponent. That'll be half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. It'll be 1st down, timeout.
3-point game. Bills offense coming up. That official flash going to call you, John. Quick look at the game summary. Drew Brees and the Saints got on the board first, but the Bills have held Drew Brees as far as the big touchdown throws. Came into the game with 9 touchdown passes, tying an all-time NFL record. But they've kept the score low. They've kept them out of the end zone, which is what they wanted to do. Edwards, no place to throw the football. And a look at the early scores. We talked about the big one of the day, the Detroit Lions finally getting the first win in over 18 games. New England downing Atlanta. Minnesota, last-ditch effort throw by the guy who's done that before, Brett Favre. They squeak out the win against the 49ers. 2nd down and 10. Jackson will come up about 4 yards short for the first down.
And that's a win as well. You're looking at 2nd and 10. Most offensive coordinators, Alex Van Pelt, thinking probably is let's get at least half of it back. You got more than half of it back. You put yourself in a good 3rd down situation. They need to convert right here.
But a long 3rd and 4 on this end of the field. No place to throw. Edwards, marker goes down, and so does Edwards. Brought down on the backside. Will Smith, along with Remy Adell.
It's fine. It's 4th down.
That's tripping on the rookie, Eric Wood.
70.
And you have the penalty. I circled Josh Reed because I thought that they would go to him in the slot. You see Darren Sharper, heck of a job. They double the guy that they think they're going to go to. Darren Sharper, very opportunistic. And then you see this D-line we keep talking about. They were challenged this week. They certainly have responded. They've been all over Trent Edwards, harassing him.
So this will be Mormon standing at his 2-yard line to punt it away. Low line driver. Takes Reggie Bush back to the 30, inside the 30. And they squeeze him down at about the 37, 38-yard line. Windling is there first. 54-yard punt, 7 yards on the return.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Windows, Life Without Walls. By the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. And by Budweiser American Ale. Discover the robust flavor of Budweiser American Ale.
Ron Pitts, John Lynch here in Buffalo. We're in the 4th quarter. The Saints clinging to a 3-point lead. First possession by the Saints. Drew Brees took them right down the field, put 7 up. Buffalo fought back to tie it up with a fake field goal. They hand this ball off to Thomas. Not much. Nice play inside. Spencer Johnson. And a look at the Saints offensive leaders.
Look at that production. This Buffalo Bills defense is doing a tremendous job bottling up this #1 ranked offense. But how many times can you do it? These guys are too good. Their offense needs to start chipping in the Bills to help these guys out. But right here, we'll see if they can stop them.
Saints added a late field goal off the turnover to make it a 3-point game. 2nd and 10. Boy, Brees, plenty of time to look his reads over, not once, but twice. Kyle Williams with the pressure.
You've got a hot quarterback. You better put pressure. You're going to see Drew Brees have all day. He's patting the ball, patting the ball, patting the ball. Finally, Kyle Williams comes in there. They talked about if you're going to bring pressure up the middle. Kyle Williams brought it, albeit late, but they're getting to Drew Brees.
Kyle Williams out of Ruston, Louisiana, and LSU. Makes it 3rd and 10. They pick up the blitz, man-to-man coverage, and it brings up 4th down. intended for Colston. Terrence McGee, who's been nicked up all week long, was all over him.
You talk about the pressure they're bringing right up the middle. That's where they wanted the pressure. And it's not necessarily sacks, but the pressure that's important against Drew Brees. That's the second 3 and out straight for this Buffalo Bills defense. You're doing work if you're doing that against these New Orleans Saints.
And Peyton is trying to call a timeout. And you can see he's upset they're not giving it to him. He was all the way out to the numbers, but he didn't actually call the timeout.
You know, and he had his challenge flag in his hand. And
well, wait, now a late flag goes down. Could be for delay of game. They pick the flag up. They're going to play. Wow. So Morstead gets it away. Not a great kick. And not a good bounce either. It's touched dead at the 20-yard line. The Bills fighting field position and the score here in the fourth quarter. The issue on that last play, Brees tries to call timeout right there, but the official didn't catch it.
Yeah, and
that's a late timeout call.
Yeah, in Walt Anderson's defense, he calls it maybe a half second right before the snap. I don't think there was ample time.
Bills ball, 21-yard line. Pitch to Jackson. Look at that scrum. That's a great rugby play. A lot of screaming and a lot of guys on defense. Pickup of 2. The Bills offense, 8 possessions, 6 punts, an interception. Boy, thank goodness for the fake field goal for a touchdown. The only points of the day for them.
That's their one touchdown from Brian Moorman. And when you're facing the #1 offense, and offense as explosive as these New Orleans Saints, you better score touchdowns. This is a very important drive. Your defense can only hold up so long against these Saints. You gotta start contributing.
Yellow 27. Let's go.
Second down and 6 throw. Back shoulder, but secured by Evans. Evans will be about 3 yards shy. John, I'm looking out at the Saints defense. You may have touched on this earlier, but the Saints coming in as a 4-3 team. I'm seeing some 3-4 defense.
Yeah, they've been sprinkling it in throughout the game. It's what Greg Williams is known for. He's going to run a number of different players, a number of different packages. We've seen the 3-4 with Bobby McCray, who's really a hybrid defensive lineman / linebacker. All kinds of multiple formations. We see that from offenses. Greg Williams does it on defense as well.
The Bills continuing the no huddle, calling the play at the line, 3rd and 3. Going deep, T.O.'s got a step. Edwards missed it. He got Jabari Greer. It was textbook. Just a little long.
And they had exactly what they wanted. One-on-one out there on T.O. Trent Edwards talked about it. It's different throwing a go to T.O. than everybody else. Most people in this league, you throw a go 37 to 40 yards. With T.O., it's a 50-yard throw. Trent Edwards even said you get back and you throw it as far as you can. Right there, it was too far.
So that brings on Moorman. They'll punt it away to Bush. Thus far, the Bills have done a nice job on Bush. Not a great punt. Ball rolls out of bounds at about the 34-yard line. Brees and the offense back when we come back. You know, numbers are numbers. But John, you look at these numbers. Brees came in with a 132.9 quarterback rating. Now he's at 71.5, but they've got the lead.
Yeah, you know what? And what this says to you, you talked about the 132 quarterback rating. Well, against the blitz, he's been upwards of 150. And you're 2 of 10. You're holding Drew Brees to 2 of 10 when you're blitzing. Tremendous job by Perry Fuel in the design that he's drawn up, and these players have executed that plan.
There's that Stanford math again. Good job. Thomas has been gashing the Bills. Tries to turn the corner, can't quite do it. A marker goes down. Brian Scott runs him out of bounds.
I think they got Brian Scott on a face mask at the end of that play.
Personal foul, face mask, number 43, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And you're right.
You see him grab it and let it go. In years past, that might have been an incidental. There is no more incidental.
Right.
Everything's a personal foul when you grab that mask. Again, another player safety rule, and that's a big change in field position. Now all of a sudden they're inside Buffalo's 50. And we keep talking about it, but how long can this Bills defense hold up against this offense?
First and 10. 15 yards on the penalty. Breeze looking deep. It's not there. Checks it down the bush. Oh, what a move. Keith Ellison. Somewhere down there, there's a jock strap. Pickup of 12.
Perry Fuel, he's kind of guarded by this post right there, but there he is. He's done a great job drawing up a design that's mixed pressure with four-man rush, and you're keeping this Saints offense in the fourth quarter to 10 points. You're doing a tremendous job. Greg Williams doing a great job. This Buffalo Bills defense has come up with the big plays, even though they've let the Saints drive. We'll see if they can do it again.
But John, you just said it. You've been saying it all game long. How long can Buffalo's defense hold up? Thomas, the run killing Buffalo. Thomas cuts back. He's looking end zone. Pierre Thomas scores. Touchdown Saints. And a key block by Heath Evans. 34 yards.
These cameras, what are you doing? Where's your head?
You watch Heath Evans. He's going to lead this thing and put the block on Ellison here. Heath Evans, Sean Payton talked about what an acquisition he was for these guys. Clearing the holes, and we posed the question, how long can this Bills defense keep holding up? Well, there's the answer.
Pierre Thomas, who led the team in rushing last year with over 600 yards, came into today's game with no carries and minus 4 yards receiving. And right now, Thomas taking care of business, putting the Saints up here in the fourth quarter. There's Pierre Thomas, 9 carries, 76 yards, and capping it off with the touchdown.
And it wasn't Pierre Thomas in the first half, but obviously in the second half, he's been the story. He's taken over. And they've started to impose their will on this Buffalo Bills defense that's been on the field too long. Their offense needs to start pitching in here for Buffalo, and in a hurry.
Thomas has done all of that in the second half. This is Parrish. Parrish just getting planted. That one will make highlights for days to come. Lionel Hamilton just plants him. 17-7. Sean Payton came in town with a high-powered offense. He is not disappointed. Maybe not the same number of points that they've been able to score coming in, averaging over 40 per game, but they have comfortably taken the lead here with 9:39 in the fourth quarter.
If you're Dick Duran, you're telling your team, fellas, we're still in this. It's a 10-point game. We've got 9 minutes and 39 seconds. Let's just put a drive together and get points on the board.
Kirk Chambers checks in at the tackle position for Demetrius Bell. Ball dropped, bad snap. Edwards checks up, throws. Was he across the line of scrimmage? Marker goes down. He may have crossed the line of scrimmage.
Calling a legal lineman downfield.
Yeah, or that too.
Ineligible player downfield, number 70, offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Going against Buffalo. Let's go out to Los Angeles for this update. Kurt Menefee.
Bengals trying to hang with the Steelers here in the fourth quarter. Cedric Benson takes it 23 yards for the score. They missed the 2-point conversion, so it's 20-15 Pittsburgh on top. Hey, Ron and John, make sure you give plenty of love to my co-college alum, Fred Jackson.
I thought that was coming.
Well, let me tell you what, Kurt, your alum is doing a nice job, but he needs more points. After the penalty, play stop. Things getting sloppy now.
False start, number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
2 penalties in a row on the offensive line. That time, Jonathan Scott, 10th penalty of the day.
That's too many penalties. As you look at these early game headliners, Fred Taylor in New England going for 105 yards. There was a lot of talk, is the dynasty over in New England? Not so fast. These guys, they know how to win football games. Kevin Kolb, second solid week, and Santana Moss going off in a defeat to Detroit.
Bills at 1st and 20. Fine getting back some of the penalty yardage.
And at some point, you still have 8 minutes and 35 seconds. The most important thing is moving the chains. But you got to start cranking the tempo of this no-huddle offense. You're in this no-huddle. They talk about the different tempos. Right now is the time for the quick tempo.
2nd and 9. Saints showing pressure. Corner blitz inside. Another throw to the tight end, and Fine drops it. Fine has dropped a couple today. As we said earlier, the Bills playing without their starter, Derek Schumann. He's gone for the year with a knee injury. And talking to Dick Duran, he was an important cog in this offense.
Very important, and instead you're throwing to Fine, who's a nice player, but he's really a blocker, and that hurts. They've lost their top 2 tight ends, and that's showing up here today.
Third and 9 throw. It's complete. Now Reed will have to do a little extra, and he doesn't do it. It looks as though he's shy. That's going to bring up 4th down. Tackled by Fajita.
It's Josh Reed in the slot. He's going to run a little option on Randall Gay. Fake in and come back out. Great job by Randall Gay. And that defensive lineman, Idell, getting back and making the tackle short of the Buffalo fans reacting to Dick Duran's decision, apparent decision to punt the football.
Yeah, but with 7 minutes of play now, you got to keep yourself in the game. The way this offense has rolled in the second half, talking about the Saints, you give them the ball here, the game could be all but over. And maybe he could be questioning the spot.
Look as to where Josh Reed goes down. It's right where that shoulder hits, and he is short. I think that's a good call by the officials. And I'm quite frankly, yes, they're backed up, but Ron, this New Orleans Saints offense has got going now. They found their mode, and I'm thinking maybe that's a reason not to give them the ball back. But I think you got to go for the first down right here on 4th down. You knew coming in you had to maybe take some chances. You won it in a typical game. You see the 7th punt in the last 8 possessions. That's not going to get it done versus a good team like New Orleans.
So Mormon at the 14-yard line will punt it away. Angling to the left. Bush will get it and run out of bounds. Tonight on Fox, it's animation domination. It's all new all night with the anticipated series premiere of The Cleveland Show. The creator of Family Guy introduces a whole new family with some new friends, wild new friends. Don't miss the series premiere of The Cleveland Show tonight after the series premiere of The Simpsons on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised.
Dick Duran hearing it a little from the Buffalo Bills faithful. They always want to go for it, but I know typical situation says you don't, but I'm just questioning whether in this game it's a little different.
Well, you make a valid point. As you say, the second half here now, the Saints have really cranked it up. Last series, they capped it off with a 34-yard touchdown, and now the bomb to really put it away, going from Meacham. And it's just overthrown. But on the coverage.
But I love that from Sean Payton. You got a team down, they punch you the ball back.
I don't think it's a bad call, right?
You're up 17-7. Conventional wisdom says you're going to pound the ball, but instead let's put the foot on their throat. Let's put the dagger in and go for it. And yeah, he overthrew Meacham there, but I like the aggressiveness.
Thomas Thomas runs into Williams. The former LSU product, 5th round pick back in '06. He limits the run to 1.
Can't say enough about this Buffalo defense. Kyle Williams has played outstanding the last couple of weeks. He holds up strong there, makes the tackle. This Buffalo defense has been impressive today.
But the big key is they lead the score on the scoreboard. Third and 9 pass, finds the window. And it's a Saints first down. Devery Henderson, a late marker. And we talked about how big Devery Henderson has been for the Saints lately.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, number 55, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Kavika Mitchell. Going back to Henderson, last year he led the NFL in yards per catch. He's doing it again here.
Devery Henderson coming in motion. He's just going to find that little seam. And a tremendous job by Drew Brees fitting in a tight window. The face mask by Kavika Mitchell at the end of the play puts him in even tougher field position.
So that moves the ball way up to the Bills' 37-yard line. Shockey in motion. Thomas looking backside, breaks through, almost broke it all the way. Scott is there, along with Whitner.
I talked about it earlier. This offensive line, Carl Nix, Jonathan Goodwin, Jerry Evans, Stinchcomb up front. They're starting to impose the will on this Buffalo defense. The Buffalo defense getting tired, and Pierre Thomas taking advantage of his offensive line play. And the Buffalo Bills starting to tire.
John, how hard is it for a team offensively like the Saints to do what they did last year, finish #1 in the NFL in total offense? Brees, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, goes to the Pro Bowl, all of that good stuff, but then come right back out and even start out at a higher level, something we talked about in the
charge
open.
timeout, New Orleans, 30-second timeout.
And what that takes, it takes great pros, and their leader, Drew Brees, we see him right here. He's the guy that leads the charge. You know, he talked about this year in the offseason, they had to become a better team. They had to become more complementary. Offense needed to help the defense. Defense needed to help the offense. I give credit to this football team led by Sean Payton. They're coming out and doing that. You talk about Drew Brees, and Sean Payton can't say enough about how hard of a worker. I've heard that from people throughout the league, and we asked him for some stories. He talked about Drew Brees and in a bye weekend a couple years ago. On his Sunday, players out in Vegas, all over the world, and Drew Brees is there on a Sunday at their facility in shorts and a T-shirt, playing a game in his own mind. Sean Payton asked him, "How are we doing?" Drew Brees said, "We're doing pretty good."
Good to know you're winning the game on your week off. This speaks of the work ethic, tremendous work ethic of Drew Brees. 2nd and 1, Thomas. Here goes Pierre Thomas again. Pierre Thomas killing the Buffalo Bills. Getting very close to the century mark as he gets down inside the red area. In fact, he's over it. 100 yards rushing for Pierre Thomas.
Talk about Nix and Goodwin. Watch these blocks. Nick's going to wash his guy out. Goodwin creating the seam, and Pierre Thomas hitting the holes hard. Pierre Thomas is saying, "I'm back and I'm healthy." Now you're going to have a great situation when Mike Bell does eventually get healthy. You've got 3, 4 very productive running backs for the New Orleans Saints.
Thomas over 100, and he did it all in the second half today. An 8.4 yard per carry average. Marker goes down late. The Saints trying to start off 3-0 for the first time.
Number 77, offense, 10-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Going against Carl Nix. Start off 3-0 for the first
Still
time.
first down.
Okay, well, for the first time since 2006. And remember, 2006 was the year they were the NFC South champs.
Yeah, and they went to the NFC Championship that year. But this drive is what I'm talking to. You could sense that New Orleans was starting to impose their will, and that's why I question maybe Dick Duran not going for it on 4th down.
That ball batted down. Brees trying to do the jump pass. And we talked about the athleticism of Drew Brees as Stroud got a hand on that one. Here's a guy that as a youngster was a great tennis player, actually beat Andy Roddick in the 10, 11, and 12-year-old division in tennis.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah, not just once, right.
Now, Andy Roddick, Drew Brees does admit, was 2 or 3 years younger, and he was coming on. But I don't, you know, Sean Payton says sometimes because of his stature that Drew Brees is thought of as being an overachiever. He said, not so fast. This guy is a heck of an athlete. They think one of the best athletes on their entire team. And what he's done this year, great credit to him.
2nd and 20, the pitch to Bush. Bush runs into trouble, but he's not done yet. Tries to get a block from Drew Brees and finally has to shut it down at the Bills' 25-yard line. But the clock continues to move. 4 minutes and counting here in Buffalo. Loss of 1 officially.
See Buffalo with 3 timeouts left. They've got to get this football back. They got to keep them out of the end zone for sure. Get this ball back and give it an effort here at the end.
George Wilson is checked in for Dante Whitner. Try to get an injury update for you there if there is one. 3rd and 21. Quick throw to Henderson. That's the quick wide receiver screen. Henderson gets down to about the 15-yard line. Knocked out by Stroud.
This is the first charge timeout. Buffalo, 30-second timeout.
Timeout taken by Buffalo. And a quick look back. Drew Brees, first series all the way down the field, capped off by the Hamilton score. And then the fake field goal, the touchdown. Mormon to Denny. And that ties it up. The interception and the turnovers. A 3-point lead going in at the half, but then it was Pierre Thomas. Thomas really got it going in the second half as he goes over the 100-yard mark.
And that's been the story, Ron. His offensive line and Pierre Thomas, they took over this game. And that's what good football teams do. They find ways to win football games. They came out and imposed their will on this Buffalo Bills defense in the second half.
35 yards out for Carney. It's clean, no flags, and that makes it 20-7 New Orleans. Don't forget, weekdays make lunchtime your new prime time as FoxSports.com brings you lunch with benefits. Log on to check out new episodes of original sports shows delivered to your desktop every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, don't miss the after party with your guy, John J. Glazer. He'll chat it up with all the big stars and performers only at FoxSports.com on MSN. I like that menu. Got a Reuben on there?
The shows have been really good, though. You watch Jay Glazer, he's going to get everybody who had the big game on the weekend. Brian Billick gets 5 or 6 head coaches from around the league. That doesn't happen too often. You get some great insight on that.
And we talked in the beginning of the game about Terrell Owens, and he is the new big play threat, but the new big play threat hasn't done much today. Thrown 4 times, he bobbled 1, and he has gone 185 consecutive games with a catch that could end today.
That's big news. I mean, that just doesn't happen with this guy, and you know, I appreciate the pro he's trying to be. I respect, you can't help but respect what this guy does on the field. But you wonder if this kind of thing's going to go on, how long, you know, can the positive TO last? He's an intensely prideful guy, and part of me respects that. Great receivers want the football. He's not going to be happy as to what happened here today.
So Parrish will take it out 2 yards deep. Full head of steam. Not a lot. Gets out just past the 25-yard line. And let's go back and take a look at T.O. today. Early in the first quarter, that would have been a tough catch to stay in bounds anyway. Tried to get him deep late here. Trent Edwards missed it. And then the good coverage by the former Buffalo Bill, Jabari Greer, led to the interception. and the near misses.
And I think what you see there is that he and Trent Edwards they aren't in sync yet. And as we mentioned earlier, Terrell's a different type of receiver. Everything's full out, all out speed, and the timing takes a while. It's obviously not there yet.
So pass time for Buffalo. Comeback throw, no. Thought T.O. would keep the streak alive on that one, but makes the catch out of bounds.
If you're Buffalo, you've got 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. You're down by 2 touchdowns. You got 13-point deficit. You got to start attacking the ball downfield. You know, the Saints are playing back, but you got to start taking some shots and going downfield.
Bad snap. Edwards down. The sack, Cedric Ellis. He'll get credit for it. Former first-round pick out of USC. A loss of 3.
Sean Payton called out these 3 first-rounders up front, these former first-rounders. And you see Cedric Ellis, the first-rounder from SC last year, and he just, great push right up the middle. These guys certainly have responded.
Another low snap. Edwards, no place to go with the ball. And this front 4 of the New Orleans Saints is just pinning their ears back and going for it. That time, Charles Grant.
Jeff Hangartner having trouble with the snaps back to Trent Edwards, but Charles Grant at the end of that play, I think he pointed over to Sean Payton and say, ask and you shall receive. They gave him a great effort today.
2 sacks on the day for Charles Grant. You can see the dismal 3rd down conversions for Buffalo. 3rd bad snap in a row. 4th down. Last ditch try. Jackson, and that'll all but do it here in Buffalo for the Bills. It'll be a turnover on downs.
You know, Ronnie, if you're going for it on 4th down, you at least got to put that thing up. I mean, it's not the ideal situation, but you got to take it down the field.
And a look at our game summary. Pierre Thomas over the 100-yard rushing mark, all in the second half. Drew Brees, probably not the yards that he's passed for the last 2 times out, but you know what? That won't bother Sean Payton one bit.
Not at all, and it won't bother Drew Brees a bit. Drew Brees is all about winning, and you can feel that when you're in the room. We visited him with him yesterday in the hotel. He is all about whatever it takes to win a championship. This guy is as focused as player on that mission as I've seen.
So they'll put it back down on the ground and keep on running it with the guy who's run it so well today, Pierre Thomas.
We're on a big story today. Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints, coming back to Buffalo where he was the head coach, and he did a job on this Buffalo offense. You see his ranks as a defense, and this man knows how to coach some defense. Started as the 21st ranked defense, went all the way down to the 2nd. He's been successful everywhere he goes. He's great at dealing with people. He's great at throwing a bunch of different looks at people. Kind of shared with us an interesting story. He thought he was on his way back to Tennessee with his best friend and coach in Jeff Fisher, but instead ends up here, and it's paying dividends for the New Orleans Saints thus far.
An old Buddy Ryan disciple. Buddy Ryan famous for that 46 defense. But he said one thing key to us last night in the meeting. He said, listen, I don't make the players fit the system. I make the system fit the players. And you think that's just a small point as the Saints go back to the end zone, and another touchdown by Pierre Thomas. 19 yards. 2nd touchdown of the day for Thomas.
And he goes in untouched, essentially. I think, you know, I'm not going to say the Bills have quit, but when you get beat down like this, that's what happens, and that's what running the football well can do to people. Their big motto for the Saints this year was finishing. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're finishing.
They're finishing.
And that's what it takes to be a championship team.
And it looked as though, and they probably won't get to that 40-point mark unless they keep on running Pierre Thomas, but still, they're pouring it on here and showing why they come into the game as such an offensive firepower. 225 yards rushing total today by the New Orleans Saints. And finishing up my story on Greg Williams, a lot of people take that for granted. You know, let your players make the plays. It's not about you, it's about the players.
Well, Darren Sharper's a perfect example. I mean, Darren Sharper, you can't say enough about him. 57 INTs in the top 10 all-time, 9 INTs for touchdown. I think that's tied for second, only behind Rod Woodson. But let's not sugarcoat it. Darren Sharper's a freelancer. He always has been. Well, they struggled with that in Minnesota, him not playing disciplined all the time. Instead, Greg Williams embraced it and said, I just have to give this guy the artistic freedom to work within the concept of the call and teach him when to take those chances. Well, already this season, Darren Sharper has 3 picks, 1 for a touchdown. Darren Sharper told me on the field before the game today, he's loving playing for Greg Williams. He's letting him trust his instincts, and that's what great coaches do. They play to the talents of their players.
Saints with yardage totals of 515, 412, respectively, coming into this game. Now their totals at 381. They keep on doing what they've been doing, and that's loading up the scoreboard with points. That ball out of the end zone, not even giving Parrish a chance to return it. Buffalo will come back out and try some desperation throws, trying to get some fast points on the board. Meanwhile, the Bills came in 1-1, a heartbreaking loss against the New England Patriots opening weekend. They rebounded from that to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, fair to say, they are struggling this year thus far. But this loss here against a team that started off hot, and Buffalo considered themselves very good here at home, especially in September.
For the Buffalo Bills, we'll see if they get T.O. his catch here. But this is a decent football team. They need to regroup after 2 tough losses early in the season.
Jackson trying to get outside, nothing doing. And that's the 2-minute warning here in Buffalo. The Saints marching big. Congratulations in order for Sean Payton and his Saints. The long out is complete. That's Josh Reed.
And Sean Payton, he should be proud of that team. They found a way to win. It wasn't the way they've been doing it. But going back to the story of, what Sean Payton has done for the city of New Orleans, he tells the story. He had interviewed back in '06 up at Green Bay. He thought he had that job. He's interviewing with the Saints. Ted Thompson texts him and say, we chose to go a different direction.
Right.
He says he tightened up that tie and really said, I better interview well.
Get the resume going again, yeah.
He talks about Reggie Bush. Well, Reggie Bush everyone thought he was going to Houston. Instead, Trent Edwards thrown out of bounds. Instead, Houston decides to take Mario Williams, and Reggie Bush falls into the Saints' lap. Then finally, Drew Brees, who had dislocated his throwing shoulder. Some people doubted whether he could ever come back. Sean Payton made it a priority to land Drew Brees, and Drew Brees calls it a calling. He felt like it was an opportunity to do something special, rebuilding an organization, a city, a region. He said the first time Sean called, he felt how much he believed in his ability to come back and resurrect that organization, and it's all worked out pretty well for Sean Payton and the region of Louisiana.
And Saints fans don't know this, but they can really thank John Lynch maybe for that, because you fell on his shoulder right out there on that last play and dislocated it, didn't you?
I did sack him on that play. I didn't hurt his shoulder.
Let's go out to Los Angeles and check in with Kurt Menenby for this update.
What a finish in Cincinnati. Carson Palmer hooking up with Andre Caldwell in the closing seconds. And the Bengals come back and knock off the Super Bowl champion Steelers, who are now 1-2, 23-20, the final. Ron and John.
Boy, you just never know in this business, do you?
No, you don't.
The Bengals with Ocho Cinco and all his tweeting and talking. They get rid of TJ Houshmandzadeh. Oh, well. Meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints, tell you what, they got a Hummer coming up next week against the New York Jets.
Yes, they do. The New York Jets are playing some football, beating Tennessee today, going to 3-0. 2 3-0 teams. That's be a great matchup. Then that bye, that's going to be real important for these Saints. They do have some injuries. Their left tackle, Jamal Brown, that gets him a week closer. Mike Bell's banged up. It's important for these guys to get healthy, and then you see a tough stretch at New York, Miami, and Atlanta. Tough sledding for the Saints, but they're playing very, very good football.
So the Saints will just kneel on it. The Saints have outscored opponents 38-2 in the fourth quarter this season. That is mind-boggling. And the Bills' next 5 games doesn't get any easier for them. Going down to Miami, that's always a tough one. Back here for Cleveland. And then they'll start up with the Jets themselves.
Yeah, and this is going to be a down team. They're going to have to rebound real quickly. They felt like this was a statement game for them. They had an opportunity to play against a team that they felt was playing, and everybody felt was playing as good as anyone, and they thought they could match up. They hung in there for a while, but fell short in the end.
So the Saints will push it to 3-0. The Bills will drop to 1-2. And Sean Payton keeps his high-powered offense rolling once again. They'll get the win here in Buffalo, 27-7. We'll be back here in Buffalo to wrap things up in just a moment. The final here in Buffalo, the Saints 27, the Bills 7. Now let's take a quick look at our Domino's Delivers leaderboard. Drew Brees came in with huge numbers. Not quite the same, but you know what? He does get the victory and good when he needed to be good. Pierre Thomas, really the story. 14 rushes, 126, 2 touchdowns. Did it all in the second half. I'm Ron Pitts for John Lynch saying so long from Buffalo. The final again, the New Orleans Saints 27, the Buffalo Bills 7. Stay tuned for the AT&T postgame show. It's coming your way next. So long, everybody.
Take that way.